Now, for Sports Hub video fans who may not be fully aware, I'd like to give a small insight, hopefully with accuracy before throwing it over to you. There was a Belgian businessman, Roland Duchâtelet, who paid over £10 million to acquire Charlton Athletic. The intention was to utilise relationships with other clubs across Europe, move players between teams. Duchâtelet's network quickly showed it maybe didn't quite have the level of players required to play in the Championship. The club were relegated to League One. He apparently, you can correct me if I'm wrong, did things like cut crisps from office workers to save money on cleaners, potentially asked players to drink from water from the taps instead of providing bottles to save money. Charlton fans, who have a long history in standing up to injustices against their club, like when they were exiled from the Valley, formed CARD, C-A-R-D, coalition against Roland Duchâtelet. Protests included a coffin with RIP Charlton Athletic written on it, thousands of plastic pigs thrown onto the pitch, a taxi for Roland that was driven all the way to Belgium, and hundreds of Charlton fans marching through Duchâtelet's hometown in Belgium, which is an incredible story in itself. Firstly, credit to the Charlton fans for playing their part in removing the German, but what are your views on this whole period at the club?
It has been a difficult time. Before I hammer him, what I would say is he did put money into the football club, and we never not got paid. We was always paid on time. We was always paid on full. So he did keep the club running, which he shouldn't be congratulated for. He took that responsibility on board. But I've seen what can happen since when someone doesn't do that, and it's messy and it doesn't look good. So he always done that. But yeah, I mean, touching on some of the stuff that you said, I think he definitely underestimated what he got involved in. So I think, and this is just my opinion, but I think his plan was to filter loads of Belgian, or not necessarily Belgian, but players from his Belgian connections into the Championship. I think he completely underestimated the level of the Championship. Thought because they was in the top league in Belgium that they could come in and we would automatically get promoted to the Premier League, and then everyone would be a winner because of the riches that go with that. But we had Belgian managers. Some were good, some were not so good. We had a lot of Belgian players, or players out of the Belgian league. Again, some were good, but some weren't good enough for the level. But it was too much, and it went on for too long before the damage was done. We actually, instead of getting promoted, we got relegated because he built a team that wasn't able to sustain what was required at a Championship. Certain appointments, managerial appointments, weren't the right ones at the right time. I felt like we had a great core of, well, the team that I spoke about that got promoted. We didn't need much help to have been able to, to make a sustained challenge. I mean, I think we finished maybe 10th. I might have been higher than that. The first year in the Championship, we're pretty much a similar squad to what we got promoted with. And I think if we'd have kept hold of, you like to see Jan Kermorgant, who went to Bournemouth, Dale Stevens, who went to Brighton and has had a great career, and added a few, we could have got to the Premier League without that experiment. That's what I felt. That was my opinion. And I think if we'd have given Pauli more time, he might have been the man to get us there. But I felt like Pauli was always on borrowed time. Once Duchâtelet came in, I think he had his own idea of managers and things like that, like he did with players. So it was a failed experiment, in my opinion. And then I think after that, he probably realised that it was never going to make it that way to the Premier League, and there was cost cutting. There was, well, you said something about Chris at the Valley, didn't you? Like there was I mean, I don't know, I don't work at the Valley, but there was stories that, making sure that all the lights are switched off, the heating was switched off, working in coats, and You couldn't. I think the story, the Chris thing was you couldn't eat at your desk because then they'd need cleaners in to tidy up, and didn't want to hire cleaners. There was a thing with water at the training ground. It wasn't the first team, but I think it was with the youth team. They wanted to take out the bottled water and just have, you know, where you fill your. Not a massive deal, but there was loads of stuff like that. There was clearly cost cutting. Everything was stripped back, and it didn't. And even recruitment in on the football side of things was cut back, and it never really gave us an opportunity to be competitive. Like, I mean, we're probably going to come onto it, but I think we got promoted again, despite Duchâtelet rather than because of him, you know. So we wasn't given the help that we needed.